Hello Dale, very good to meet you. We're here to talk about your 2030 vision, a manifesto, a document for 15 years ahead.
Well, for a number of years we've been putting a lot of work into the issues of energy, transport and food. It's part of our philosophy for a green Britain. These three issues account for 80% of everybody's personal carbon footprint and fossil fuel consumption and therefore unsustainability. We've produced a number of ideas in each of these sectors for things that we could and should do. We thought it was about time we pulled it together into a kind of national plan, and we chose a date in the future, 2030, and we said by 2030, these are the things that could have happened. These are things we could have done using technology and behaviour change and government policy. And we asked Cambridge Econometrics to do the modelling for us, to say what are the benefits to our economy in terms of jobs and industry and balance of payments and those kind of things. We thought it'd be very interesting to present a vision of the future. The green economy is a massive opportunity for us, so we were hoping to evidence that. We aren't going to stop here. We're going to take the vision out to 2040, 2050, just see where we can end up. But we'll be encouraging all political parties to really adopt this philosophy, really, that Britain can be self-powered from renewable energy and that it will be great for our country in economic terms. You know, polar bears and saving the whale and that kind of stuff, you know, jokingly we'll say that's important as well, but that's not the prime reason for doing it. It's about jobs and industry, you know, new technology and all the opportunities for our country. I think if we can get them to see that, then perhaps they'll come this way.
The EU has told us we're supposed to cut our emissions by 40% by 2030. Are we on track to do that?
I don't believe that we are, actually. But our vision piece shows that by 2030 we could be achieving an 80% cut in emissions and that we could have decarbonised to below the fairly ambitious 50 grams per kilowatt hour target. The modelling by Cambridge shows that we'll be at about 33 grams per kilowatt hour, which is you know, massive progress. And on top of that, we'll enjoy great economic benefits. It's a very interesting outcome. We can have these vital green measures to fight climate change and enjoy economic benefits from them.
What's your 2030 vision for energy?
Well, it's 80% of the country powered by renewable sources by 2030. Green gas has a big role to play. I think we can stop the burning of gas completely, fossil fuel gas. We see new coal stations banned from 2020. I'm not sure anyone's planning to build any anyway, but we see existing coal stations shut down by 2025, which make a massive difference to the carbon content of the grid. But it's basically a country powered by renewable energy.
You've proved that by being green, you can still be a very successful commercial company. So why haven't the other energy companies gone the same way?
I think we've been able to spread parts of our message, and some of the things that we've done have been adopted by other energy companies. But fundamentally, we are a different beast, because we exist for a mission, and the money that we make, we put back into our mission. Other energy companies exist to serve shareholders in the way that conventional businesses do. So that would be the fundamental reason why nobody else is going down this path with us.
So what does your vision mean for transport?
By 2030, for example, the modelled outcome is that half the cars on the road of Britain are electric, and that every new car sale in Britain at that time is electric. That we're saving £9 billion a year in avoided burning of petrol and diesel, and that our health system is better off to the tune of £1.2 billion through cleaner air and less breathing-related health problems.
Would decarbonising all of our transport help our balance of payments crisis?
It would, because in the energy sector, meanwhile, we're modelling an 80% provision of electricity from renewable sources. So the electricity powering these cars is coming from the wind, the sun and the sea. It's not coming from abroad, so we're not paying money out to do that. And so yeah, this £9 billion in effect is spent within our economy instead of without.
Now, a lot of people use their car a lot. They depend on it for commuting. They might be worried that going electric is going to be much more expensive.
No, it's actually less. One of the things our report shows is that it's much cheaper to run an electric car in 2030 than it is a petrol car. You'll save £1,000 a year if you're running an electric car, and that's a lot of money to most people. And really, it's just early days for the technology, as it was in the days of mobile phones and laptops. You know, they were relatively expensive back at the beginning, sometime in the 90s. Today they're cheap as chips, aren't they, really?
What does the 2030 vision mean for food and what we eat?
Well, I suppose one of our more colourful suggestions is the cow tax. as it became branded, but it's really a tax on the environment impact of meat and dairy production, because these are the biggest sources of unsustainability in our diets. And I think a surprising fact to most people is that the biggest difference they can make on the food front is not to worry about air miles, where the food comes from. It's not to worry about the plastic bag that they might take it home in. It's to change what they eat. And that is to stop eating meat and dairy, because they're so massively unsustainable. They consume enormous amounts of resource compared to a simple vegetarian or vegan diet.
Isn't this 2030 vision just a way to promote your own business?
Yeah, I've heard that from time to time in the 20 years I've been doing this. For example, at public meetings for wind farms back in the early days, people would say, yes, but you would say windmills are a good thing because you're building them, and that's an easy argument to make. But I think it's a fairly shallow one. We truly believe in what we're doing here, and of course, we promote what we're doing.
What most encouraged you about the Cambridge econometrics findings? What most surprised you?
I think it was just a range of benefits to the economy. The billions of pounds saved in fossil expenditure we expected. The over 1 billion saved in the National Health Service from health problems. We kind of expected. We'd seen something in a European report that indicated that, but it was great to see it replicated in Britain. And of course, the unseen part of that's about money. The unseen part about that is people's health. People not suffering from asthma and breathing problems, and the premature deaths every year as well. So I think it was just the overall great picture that it painted. I don't think we saw a downside in the entire exercise.
Thank you very much.